Okay, so today I want to share a meditation technique that I use whenever I'm in a emotional bad place and or if my mind is spinning and I don't seem to be able to stop the kind of thought pattern that's happening inside my mind. Now, before I get into the meditation technique itself, let me quickly explain why I think it's actually crucial and could help out a lot of people that seem to get stuck in their head and just repeat their own suffering. The reason being that while there's a time and place for everything, and that I also think that people need, very crucially, that people have the self-insight to know when to do what and when something is serving them and when something is actually just causing them more misery. What I mean by that is that I think that whenever we are in emotional distress, there is a very good reason to make a logical based action plan that can get us out of whatever situation it is that's causing us emotional distress. So let's say that I get a lot of anxiety because of how my boss treats me at work. Now, of course, there is a very good reason to logically plan out how I can confront my boss and maybe make an arrangement so that I'm not in emotional distress whenever I'm working, or take time to sit and consider if the job is right for me. Of course, there's a time and place for that, and I think that would be extremely beneficial and probably something a lot of people that are in emotional distress should actually be doing. But at the same time, I will say that 90 maybe 95% of the time, which I'm, by the way, pulling out of my ass that number, but I do think, if anything, it's an statement of how often people are logically contemplating and mentally masturbating about the things that's causing them emotional distress. What I mean by that is, if something is upsetting someone, instead of making an action plan or instead of getting relief from the emotional pain that they're in, they sit and they contemplate the situation, doing nothing but spiraling them down into a worse and worse emotional place, causing themselves more and more misery. And oftentimes even talking about it is just another way of them to repeat the experience that's causing them emotional distress. What's causing us the issue is that we're stuck in the past or in the future. The past being, I lost this thing in the past and that's why I'm feeling sad now. Future being, oh no, what will happen when I do this thing, or if I have to go through this, or if this person says this and that to me, what will then happen to me? And so we get anxiety because of the future. And so again, the problem being that we're not in the present. Now, by thinking over these things, we're again just going into the future or going into the past by mentally imagining the future or the past. So let's say that, oh no, what will happen when my boss tells me this tomorrow? In the future, I'm feeling anxiety because of what will happen in the future. How do I know that I'm feeling anxiety? Well, one thing is that I have the mental thought of what will happen in the future. Okay, I know this thought is causing me anxiety, but how do I know that right now I'm feeling anxious? Well, I often know because I have this huge fucking knot in my stomach, and this knot in my stomach is how I know that I'm feeling anxious. But if we separate the knot in the stomach with the mental thing, it's just a knot in the stomach. It's just a physical sensation in the stomach that is completely unlabeled from either good or bad. And we put the label because we connect it to the mental thought. And so the technique is basically this. Whenever we have emotional distress, whenever we're feeling sad, usually we go into the thought, okay, I'm feeling because of this. This is why I'm anxious. This is why I'm sad. But instead, what we can teach ourselves to do is to go into the physical sensation. One method is to ask yourself, well, how do I know that I'm feeling anxious? How do I know that I'm feeling sad? Okay, I know because I have some kind of pain in my body. Well, where is the pain located? Okay, maybe it's located in my chest, maybe it's in my stomach. And then we close our eyes and we try to focus in and feel just the sensation, the physical sensation in the body, nothing more. Now, while we're doing this, we want to be able to have a balanced mind, as balanced as possible. And while we're focusing on the physical sensation, the sensation is here and now. The sensation is not happening in the future. They're happening on the body here and now. And so what happens when we focus in on the sensation itself is that we focus in on the present. And what will happen often is that our mind will keep going back into mentally contemplating what's going on. And so what we do then is we gently accept that, okay, our mind went away, we went back into our mind, and we bring it back into our body. We bring it back to the sensations in our body. And we just feel our body here and now. How am I feeling? How do I know that I'm feeling upset? Okay, I know it. Sensation is here. How does the sensation feel? Is it a warm sensation? Is it a cold sensation? Is it a bubbly sensation? Somewhat electric sensation maybe? And try to just feel the sensation and feel the details of the sensation. Where is the sensation? Okay, maybe if it's my chest. Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Where is it on my chest? And maybe we can feel, okay, there's a little bit of the sensation up here, and as we go a little bit down, it gets intensified, and then it gets less and less intense. It gets dissolved. And as we just try to focus on the sensation itself, we can start relaxing more and more, because we bring ourselves into the present. As we start relaxing more and more, we have a more and more balanced mind, and we feel more and more calm inside. We will also notice often that the sensation will start being less and less intense, and less overwhelming. And even if it isn't, that's okay as well. We just keep feeling it, we just keep accepting it, and accept that it maybe feels uncomfortable. Maybe it feels cold like right now because I'm only wearing a t-shirt and the sun just went away. And we just keep accepting it. And maybe we accept, if we can't figure out how to accept the sensation and accept it, we accept that we can't accept it. And we just keep going that way. And if it's very, very overwhelming, we'll be able to control our breath. Just take a deep breath in, exhale again, and try to calm yourself down a little bit with your breath. And then just go back to the sensation, try to observe it. Just observe, don't try to control it, just observe it. And again, as you go into the sensation, you go into the present. And so whenever we have emotional distress, we have the mind, which is based in the future or in the past, and we have the body, which is based in the here and now. The sensations that we're feeling sad because of something in the past, we're feeling anxious because of the future, but we're feeling it now, we're experiencing the emotions now. And so just experience the emotions, don't experience the future or the past, just the emotions. And as we do, we can really feel that we start calming ourselves down. And when we have that mental balance again, we can accept the emotions a lot better. And so we can do this as many times as we need to. Go back to it, and it will help you out, and then the sensations or your mind will go back and just go back and forth, and it's a learning process in that way. Maybe you'll feel calm for an hour, maybe you'll feel calm for a day, maybe you'll completely forget about the thing that made you distressed in the first place. Or maybe it'll come back 2 minutes after you stop meditating. But however it is, this is a really good technique to give you some instant relief from the emotional distress and emotional pain when it gets too intense. And when you're feeling that you're not really doing anything productive with it, you're not using it to grow as a person, you're not using it to get out of the situation that's causing you emotional pain. In those situations, this technique is really beneficial. And so that's all I had to say. Again, if you like this technique, chances are you'll like Vipassana as well. It's a much more intense version, if you can even compare them. If you like the video, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Take care.